All right, welcome to today's YouTube. It's been a while,
Long time no see.
but this is my buddy Eric Walsh, formerly from Monster Morphs. How do you?
So let's say we take a hiatus from ball pythons. Still keeping the retics
Okay,
and maybe going into some other things. Big fan of Angolan pythons.
gotcha.
Just took a step back from the ball pythons. Just time consuming. I've been doing it
Feeders.
for 14 years. It's really hard for me to get feeders. I tried
Need
the
stuff to eat frozen.
Yep, I tried the frozen thawed, and I was wasting a ton of money on frozen thawed every week. So,
Yeah.
just took a step back for a while, but definitely, still part of it. I mean, I still keep in touch. Got my ear to the streets.
Good deal. So Eric came up today. Just hadn't seen him in a while, and just come to hang out. And while he's here, I asked him a very personal question. I asked him if he'd be willing to do a YouTube with us so I can explain what's been going on with me and what's going on with hardwired exotics in general. And of course, he was 100% willing to help. So that's what we're going to do. So today's episode is going to be based off of what's been going on with me personally and my sickness and what's going on with HWE in general as far as the business and employees and whatever else. And we can't, there's no way that this is going to be a long video anyway, but there's no way we can get into all the details about it. So we're just going to try to skim across the top and give you enough information so that you know what's going on, but there's no way that we can get into what's been going on for a year now in a 10-minute video. It just can't happen. So without further ado, we'll start back in May of 23. Our house was shot at. More in particularly, my family and myself were shot at, and that set off a chain of problems with me personally. Stressful moment, stressful incident. They were able to catch the person that done it, and a lot of court involved and stuff like that. And I just got into a slump, I guess could be the word. I got super stressed out. Business is very difficult. We have 4 businesses, and running those 4 businesses is just difficult. The economy's not perfect by any means, and a lot of family issues. Our son was really sick and having some issues, which now he's had surgery and corrected, but just a lot of stuff going on. So I became very stressed, and that stress led to bad eating habits. Bad eating habits led to digestive issues for me, and by digestive issues I mean a stress-related constipation. November, I set up an appointment with my doctor. November of 23, I set up an appointment with my doctor to see a GI. Fast forward into January of 24, I had to go to the emergency room. The pain that I was experiencing in my stomach was so bad that Cassie and my dad basically forced me to go to the emergency room, where they drew my blood, checked all my blood work, done a CT scan, found nothing wrong with me. By January, I had lost a lot of weight. I just about quit eating because my stomach couldn't handle anymore. Was finally able to get a GI appointment for March, and the doctor basically then told me that I had this constipation type stuff and gave me a pill to help my stomach get working again, which it did. The pill that I'm just supposed to take whenever I really need it did activate my stomach and get everything going like it's supposed to be, and the pain started tapering back down off. Because of my age being 39, having stomach issues, took a little bit of dealings, but we finally were able to get set up for a colonoscopy. And when they done the colonoscopy, the only thing that they found wrong, which is a big thing, I have colon cancer. There's no type of cancer that you can have that's good. It's all bad. So basically what they're going to do is I'm going to have to go through chemo and radiation, starting, in a week or 2, 3, something like that. I'll have to do chemo and radiation, and I'll have 4 weeks of chemo and radiation, 5 days a week, so Monday through Friday for 4 weeks. In Statesboro, which is 30 minutes from us. And then after those 4 weeks, I'll set up an appointment with my cancer doctor, and they'll go in surgically and remove the cancer spot. They'll cut out a section of my colon and reattach the colon back together. They'll cut the lymph nodes and all that stuff around it too. The cancer, according to the MRI, is located in my colon and it hasn't penetrated a back wall, and it also hasn't spread anywhere. Doctor's not even really sure it's even in the lymph nodes. It may not even be in the lymph nodes themselves, so we may have caught it, relatively early. But for those that don't know, cancer doesn't really have a feel to it. You really don't know that you have it in pretty much every case until it starts affecting something. And the constipation and belly pains is from the cancer spot. Is basically my colon didn't want anything through it because of the irritation, so it was backing itself up, which is where the constipation actually comes from. Long story short, that's what's got to happen. I will have to have a colonoscopy, not colonoscopy, but a colostomy bag while my colon heals. And then once my colon is healed, I'll have a second surgery to remove the bag and basically get everything back up and going. If they decide, depending on how everything that they cut out looks like, they'll decide if I need any chemo and radiation after the surgeries are over as well. So we won't know that till after. But yeah, so that's what's been going on with me. Don't worry, I'm not going to die from this surgery. I'm not going to die from this cancer. I'm not going to die from this surgery. If there is a cancer to have, even though it sounds really crazy, this is actually not a very bad cancer. All cancer is bad, don't get me wrong, but this cancer is curable. They can remove it. It's actually quite common among men, usually in the older ages, but I've probably had this since my teenage years or even my 20s. It's a very slow-growing cancer. A lot of people probably have it and don't even know it. So for the males out there, I really suggest getting a scope.
Get your scope.
Get your scope done. They say 50 now. But
it was always 50, but now this happened, so I will probably have one coming up shortly.
Yeah.
And I'm 42, so.
Yeah, I would say they probably need to start them at around 35, 40 years old, and you need to have a scope done.
The sooner the better.
If they had caught this 10 years ago, it would have probably just been a couple of pills and been over with.
Nothing, yeah.
So, but anyway, that's what's going on with me. There for a long time while I was having those bad issues, I was losing a tremendous amount of weight. I was very weak. Now I have pills to make my stomach activate, and everything's working a little bit better. I'm able to manage everything that's going on with me, so I'm actually starting to pick up weight, and the weight's increasing my energy level. So I'm actually better than I was a couple months ago, but this surgery and chemo and all that's coming up, and I'm gonna hit hard. Like it's gonna put me down for a long time. I have friends and family that are gonna come help clean the snakes and feed the snakes. I've gotten everything down electronically. Brittany was able to get all our pairing records and all that stuff, and eggs, and everything needs to be done is all documented now in a spreadsheet form that's easy for somebody to read. Even if they don't know anything about animals, they should be able to figure this out. Hardwired Exotics is just going to keep on keeping on. We're not really going to change anything other than the fact that I'm going to be physically down for a little while. I'll still be able to answer emails and questions and things like that along the way periodically, but as far as the physical work goes, I'm going to be down. And I know people are going to say, I'll come help you, and I really appreciate that. But and there may come a time where I may need some serious help, but for right now, I thank my friends and family that live close by. Jeremy, that helps me every week. Brittany works for us. I've got another buddy of mine, Marvin, that's been working with me for 7 years with the rats. He's very familiar with the snakes. People like Eric and Banks and Jake at Brew Balls, a bunch of the local people, Juan, Craig, all these guys are going to be able to come and help, and they're very familiar with what's going on in here. So it's one of those times it's good to have some some good close friends that know a lot about what's going on in the facility to be able to keep it manageable and keep it going. Yeah, Cassie, I don't. So she doesn't. She doesn't have a clue. She doesn't even touch the snakes. So,
I will help.
yeah. So during the process, you may be talking to Cassie or Brittany a lot on social media. That both will have access to be able to answer questions, things like that for when I'm down. Cassie already does. In case something ever happened to me, she's always had access to everything anyway. But especially during this, she may be more apt to get back in touch with you than me. Yeah, so that's about it. I wanted Eric to ask some questions. He just found out about most of this past week as well. I know there's going to be a lot of questions from y'all, so I told Eric, I was like, why don't you ask me some questions that I'm going to forget that somebody would want to know. You got anything you want?
I mean, just a lot of simple stuff. Like, was this the first instance you had? Was this past November or whatever? Or can you remember in the past, maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago?
You know, there were times when I worked at the body shop that I would feel like I didn't feel real good, like something was wrong with my stomach. They told me I had an ulcer or something like that, probably 10 years ago. Never seemed to be a real big deal, but you know, now looking back at it, it probably was the cancer
Was there already?
was already there. I didn't have a scope done, and nothing would show up on any blood work or any scans or anything. Because I still, even right before we found out all of this, we had some new life insurance policies drawn up, and they drew blood and, you know, checked for drugs and, you know, all that type of stuff on the life insurance policy, and everything is flawless. Like, I am in parameters on everything. So, you know, there's really no way to catch this unless you have a scope. But, you know, nothing ever was really out of the way that I thought that I would have like this. So I didn't really start seeing it until right after May of last year when we were shot at.
Yeah. So with that being said, with the increased stress levels, obviously that's when these things seem to rear themselves. Are you doing anything particular for stress nowadays or in the future you plan on?
You
to
know,
keep it at a bay? And
I've definitely stepped back away from social media and a lot of the drama involved, especially in the snake world. We were just talking about this before we started filming. There's an astronomical amount of drama involved.
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like as a person and as a HWE, as a business, I can't get myself wrapped up in any drama unnecessary. And all I'm trying to do in this life is just survive. I haven't even been on vacation in 2 years. Like, I mean, yeah, we have a nice house. We have a nice vehicle or a couple of nice vehicles, you know, but I don't live like
extravagant.
I don't live very, you know, like a lot of these other ball python breeders, you know. I just, you know, just try to survive in life and raise my kids the best I can. So I feel like stepping away from even more of that drama is what I've been working on. I've tried to get more involved in like sports and stuff. I've never been a big sports watcher, but been watching more football and more basketball and kind of just stuff to get away from reality.
For downtime.
Trying to start doing more stuff with the kids, and yeah, Range is playing t-ball now, so I'm able to help coach that, and you know, all the stress and stuff from ball pythons and snake world, and well, it doesn't have to be snakes, just reptile in general. And there's drama in every business, but I've definitely stepped away from a lot of that to try to alleviate some of the stress involved in it, which my customers that I've had I've had customers for, you know, many years, but my customers have really, really, really helped the stress level recently. Like, I haven't had a bad customer in a long time.
That's good.
And that helps a lot.
That's huge.
That helps a lot. You know, all of our friends and customers have been really great lately. You know, I've only had 1 or 2 incidents on Morph Market that somebody was just being completely out of.
I know it's kind of early, but did they go over any type of plan on recovery, like how long it would take after surgery or how long you will be down as far as physically?
So the chemo part of that, like I said, is 4 weeks. The doctor says it shouldn't affect me too much because it's going to be a pill-given chemo and then the radiation. I should be able to drive myself back and forth. If I do feel weak or whatever, it still shouldn't be very harsh on my body. You know, they never really know with the chemo.
Yeah.
But as far as the surgery goes, I'll be in a hospital for 5 or 7 days once they do the surgery, and it's going to be probably 3 to 6 weeks
that you'll be out.
Recovery. Yep. So I'm going to say pretty much a month. I'm going to be not able to do hardly anything. I could probably tell people what to do, but physically I'm not going to be able to do much.
Lifting and moving around and everything.
Yeah.
So when you found out about this might go back to the stress thing. It might be a little personal. Did you kind of rethink family and life plan or anything like that?
Yeah, that's actually
because it hits close to home. I mean,
yeah, Eric's mom's got cancer right now too. So, I'd be lying if I said I didn't get emotional. I mean, you can't help but get emotional, especially when you have kids.
Yep.
I mean, my wife is number one priority in my life, and I'm more worried about her, than anything because. I mean, I provide and take care of her and my parents practically. So it's like, I didn't worry about me,
Yeah, we always put ourselves on the back burner.
It's more like, I mean, it's just part of being a man, in my opinion. It's like, it doesn't matter what happens to me, but now it does. Because if I can't work and can't provide, then they don't have a life. And by my wife not having a life, then my kids wouldn't have a life. So it's like, that's what I think that's what bothers me the most is like, man, what am I going to do? Like, what if I go down for even longer? What if there's complications in this surgery and I'm down for months? So that part of me, or that bothers me. I can't say that it doesn't. I've shed a few tears over it. I can't lie. It's hard to imagine not being here and watching your kids grow up. But all the bad stuff, and I cuss at God sometimes. Even though you shouldn't, you still get aggravated with him. But at the same time, how can I not be blessed? It could be so much worse.
Oh yeah, everyone can always have it worse.
It could have spread. Could not be able to do surgery. The bullet could have hit me, or yeah, I'm mad sometimes and blessed at others. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's rightfully so. I haven't had to come across anything like that in my life, but I would imagine you always put yourself on the back burner until something like this happens, and you start what you could have done different, what didn't I do, what should I have done, and dwelling on those things don't help anybody either. Nope,
and I don't think I made any bad mistakes along the way as far as physical or it just happens. So, just the way it is sometimes. Good people have bad things happen to them. So.
Yeah, and it's the way it is.
So, but anyway, if you have any questions, I don't mind opening up and talking too much. Obviously, I don't want to have the same conversation. That's why I'm putting this video out. But, feel free to shoot me up, ask me questions or whatever. But business is still going to run just fine. Got enough people that are going to be able to take care of everything. Actually, I'll get into that later, but I'm going to pick up a bunch of snakes here pretty soon. So.
Not slowing down.
Not slowing down. Spending money I ain't got still. But, that'll be a video upcoming pretty soon. Come home with some from Atlanta Repticon, by the way. Some boas. Some pretty amazing boas, but I'll show them after they get settled in and had a couple meals. They're super fragile, so definitely need to get a couple meals in them before I mess with them too much. But, yeah. Think anything else that somebody might want to know?
I mean, you covered most of it, and I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more coming out once you actually get into treatment.
Yeah, for sure.
And if there's any side effects or anything you could notice along the way.
And that's why YouTube's been up and down and hit and miss, and it's probably not going to get any better. As much as I like doing these YouTube videos, my world doesn't revolve around doing this.
Yep.
It's just, I try to get it out there, but if I can, I can't. So much love to all of y'all that are going to be praying for us. Appreciate you watching. And yeah, I guess Cassie could do some sort of documentary.
A time-lapse thing.
Time-lapse over. So there'll be more to come, I'm sure. But I just needed to get this out there so the people that have heard something will now know the truth out of my mouth as to what I know and what's going on. So, but don't worry, HWE is not going anywhere. All the rumors about selling out are not true. Nothing's buy one get one free.
You're not on your deathbed.
And I'm definitely not on my deathbed because I've heard that one a couple of times already. So I actually feel better than I have in a long time, but I know some bad times are coming. So me and Cassie are fixing to go off by ourselves for a little while and spend some time, just me and her, and we're gonna pick up some snakes while we're gone. Appreciate y'all watching, and we're gonna get out of here because we got to go tend to our kids, and Eric does too.
Yes, I do. And if you're anywhere around our age and a male, you might want to talk to your doctor.
Yes, sir. See y'all next time.
Later.